I don't know that I need this on. It is such a beautiful day in Arizona. The weather is perfect. It could not get any better. Seriously, the weather here in Arizona is absolutely amazing. Um, so if any of you have ever been to Arizona, you're thinking about coming to Arizona, now is the best time to come to Arizona because the weather couldn't be absolutely better. Um, but I'm so excited to get on this morning, and I hope and pray that as I share this information, that it helps you to avoid the mistakes that I've made. Why can't I? Okay, here it is. Sorry, folks. And so I'm really excited to share with you, okay, what it is that you can do that can help you to start improving your metabolic health. But first, I want to find out where you guys are tuning in from. Okay, so if you are, let me know what city, what state, what country you might be tuning in from. But I'm really excited to get on here and just have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. But let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'm always curious where people are located around the world, and so if you wouldn't mind doing that, I would really appreciate that. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Troy, and I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've lived here my whole entire life, but I have a sister, a twin sister who's in Utah, a sister in Arkansas. I have a sister in Tennessee, and then we moved my mom to be closer to my sister in Tennessee after my dad passed away. And so, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Kim gets paid. Good morning. How are you doing? Oklahoma's got to be pretty cold right now, isn't it? I would imagine it's super cold where you're at. Right now, Arizona, actually, I'm curious to know it's actually really cool outside. But let's see, I'll tell you what the weather is here in Phoenix, or really Mesa. It's 56 degrees here, which is actually, I'm wearing a polo and I've got shorts on. So I don't know. For me, I don't want to live where it's cold, but I don't mind if it's cold. Does that make sense? So for me, I actually, I love it. And Arizona, obviously in the summer it gets really hot, and I know for some people, managing the hot can be really, really hard, right? Eddie Banks, good morning. Let me know if you have any questions. And we've got Pocahontas for you from New York City. Oh, New York City's got to be super cold. I actually had somebody on my live the other day that was Nikki. Let me know if you have any questions. I actually have a discount code that you can put in. But there was somebody from Canada. It was negative 25 degrees. And I just thought, how crazy is that? So New York City's like 20. No, I like the 50-degree weather here in Arizona. So I've lived here my whole entire life. It was 0 on Saturday. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you do it. But I live in Phoenix. It's perfect weather right now. And actually, if anybody's ever been to Arizona, if you can ever get past the 4 months of heat, it's amazing weather, right? It's dry heat here. I don't know. For me, I love it here in Arizona. I've actually lived in Arizona my entire life. I can't imagine living anywhere else, although my sister keeps trying to get me to move to Tennessee. That's where my mom lives in an assisted living memory care facility. And I'm not going to lie, I miss my mom. I heard Arizona is absolutely beautiful. Pocahontas, you would absolutely love it here. It's a dry heat. We've got the Grand Canyon. So if you've never been to the Grand Canyon, it's a beautiful place to actually go and visit. Here in Orlando, it's 33. Sir Eddie, how are you? Supposed to be in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. I'm trying to make it work. But anyways, so I want to welcome everybody to this morning's live, right? We're talking about something that affects over 90% of adults. And Pocahontas, thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. Here's the reality. Most people don't even know that they have this, okay? Now, if you are looking at what it is that I'm using every single day, Okay, if you're looking at this, please don't order it without the special. Okay, because you're going to get I think it's 25 or 30% off. Okay. Folks, I absolutely love being a part of this. I actually want to do something here because I actually just want to test this. And thank you to everyone who's looking at this. Okay, let me see if this does it do the. I just want to try something real quick. And again, as you guys come in, please let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'm always curious. Is it only for today? It'll get better. Good morning. What's only for today? Are you talking about the discount? Well, and what I do is once somebody orders, then what I do is I help them to get it set up to where it's even better. And thank you to everybody's hopping on. Okay, I really appreciate those of you that are getting on here that are wanting to learn. What I talk about is something that, believe it or not, affects 93% of us. Okay. Oops, this is what I'm missing. And this affects 93% of people. Okay. Most people have no idea what insulin resistance is. Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to see if this works. Okay, so we'll figure this out. But I really appreciate each and every one of you for hopping on this live. There's nothing better than getting on here and sharing something that I know is making an impact in people's lives. Okay, and so insulin resistance. Okay, what is it? How do we know that we have it? Most people that have it don't even know that they have it. Okay, and you know, if you know somebody who is struggling with their health, okay, feel free to share this live with them. If you're struggling with your health, this information could change your life. And you know, Solomon said in the Bible, in all your gain understanding. Well, let me tell you, when you understand insulin, it changes everything because this affects everybody. When you understand how the body works, everything starts to change. Now, I've had a lot of close calls with my health. Some of you know my story, some of you don't. But in November of 2014, I donated a kidney to my sister's husband, and I'm super grateful for that, right? Super grateful. But it was 7 years later when I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease, and my nephrologist said that if I didn't lose weight, if I didn't change my diet, that I was going to end up on dialysis. And I'm not going to lie, this scared me because I've always been healthy. And so when somebody informed me that I was going to be struggling with this, I mean, it literally changed everything. Okay. And over the past year, I started focusing on improving my insulin sensitivity, my energy, my labs, my quality of life change in ways that I didn't expect. And this is one of the reasons why I do these lives. And I do these lives. Good morning, Bethany. I do these lives not to scare people, but to give information that I honestly wish that I had earlier. Right? Here's something that surprised me. Okay. When people go to the doctor and cholesterol is elevated, medication is often discussed first. You guys realize that there are over 1 million Americans that are on lipid-lowering medications? For many people, they might be helpful and they might even be necessary, but what most people aren't told is that nutrition and metabolic health play a major role, right? And so when I came across this, okay, that has completely changed my life, okay, it was one of those things where, and Christy, let's have a conversation. I saw that you clicked on that. So one of the most interesting things that I came across was this product, okay? It is called the Feel Great System because it makes people feel great. But what most people don't realize is that every time you and I go to a doctor, the doctors diagnose and treat our symptoms. They don't fix the root cause, okay? They don't treat the root cause, which is what's causing 90% of all the chronic issues that we have. I mean, look at it, folks. Look around us, okay? Far too often, we are just throwing medications at our symptoms without trying to fix the root cause. I want you to think of insulin like a fire that is burning out of control in your body, okay? Just like how the smoke signals that there is a fire, okay? All of these symptoms that you and I have are caused by the root. Now, let me ask you this. What if instead of chasing the symptoms, okay, what if instead of chasing the symptoms, we tackled the one thing that's causing them all? Like, that would be the most effective, right? But the reality is, this is what we are not doing. See, we're not worried about trying to fix the root cause, okay? We are literally trying to, I mean, just think about this. You know, most people have no idea that, you know, it just amazes me that there's so many people that are affected by their health. And when we go to a doctor, all we're doing is diagnosing and treating the symptoms. We're not trying to fix the root cause, okay? And so I love getting on here and talking about this because at the end of the day, most doctors have no idea that insulin resistance even exists, right? And so my hope and my prayer as I share this, that it helps people to avoid the same mistakes that I've made. And here's why this conversation matters, okay? This conversation matters because in the United States, over 90% of people are metabolically healthy, okay? It's probably the lighting, right? You know, the Bible tells us that no good tree bears bad fruit. Well, I want you to think of the tree, right? The fruit is high cholesterol. The fruit is fatigue, high blood pressure, high blood sugar issues, hormone problems. But the root, right? When we're talking about the root of a tree, okay, it is often insulin resistance. It is something that we never focus our attention on. If we never address the root cause, the fruit is going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to come. And as I'm talking, I want you guys to think about your own health. Okay, drop a 1 in the chat if your energy or weight has been a struggle. Drop a 2 in the chat if your cholesterol or blood pressure has come up. Okay, drop a 3 in the chat if blood sugar or cravings or crashes sound familiar. I just want you guys to understand something, that you're not alone and you're not broken. Okay, there are 2 simple things that I focus on that I help people to understand. I'm going to walk you through 2 simple foundations that can help you to reverse insulin resistance naturally. Okay. I'm also going to be sharing a tool that is literally changing people's lives all over the world. Okay. How many of you, honestly, when you go to a doctor, you just feel like they're always diagnosing your symptoms, right? How many of you feel that way? How many of you, if you knew and had a solution to the problem of insulin resistance, right? How many of you would you be inclined? There's a new flavor, actually. You know, this is the they have a raspberry pomegranate. I don't know if do I have that? No, I don't. But these are the 2 flavors. They're coming out with a mint chocolate brownie, which is absolutely incredible. You know what's interesting is a lot of us often love having snacks or desserts even late at night. And so this is a great go-to. I love to have this hot. Michaela, good morning. But one of the reasons why I get on here is because insulin resistance is something that affects 93% of us. Okay? Most people literally have no idea that insulin resistance even exists because nobody's talking about it. I wish that I would have known about this 21 years ago, because my dad passed away on Easter Sunday 2017, and I wish he was still here, and unfortunately there's not much that I can do with that. And I think about this, and I think about how many people around me are affected by these health issues. And so let's talk about insulin for a second. Okay? Insulin is a hormone that plays a critical role in how our bodies use energy. So I want you to think of insulin like a key that unlocks the cells, right? Every time you and I eat food, especially sugar and especially carbs, it spikes our blood sugar. And when we spike our blood sugar, Linda, let me know if you have any questions. And we have a discount on that. So let me know. But every time we eat, we spike our blood sugar. And then our body releases insulin, which acts as the key to unlock our cells, right? Insulin is kind of like the Uber driver. It's what picks up the glucose out of our bloodstream, and it's what takes it to our cells. And normally our cells would be okay with this. But what happens when you and I are eating all the time, we're constantly spiking our blood sugar. And before you know it, you're on 1 or 2 or 6 or a dozen medications, and the medications don't fix the root cause. When insulin stays high for too long, what happens is that your cells stop responding to it in the way that they should. And your body will, at this point, will start compensating, and it'll start pumping out more and more insulin just to get the same job done. That's the condition that is known as insulin resistance. Charlie, stop. Hey. Right? And unfortunately, this is far too common. My goal is to help reverse insulin resistance. Folks, I don't care how long you've been struggling with your health issues. You can fix it and you can reverse it naturally. Think about this. Right now, more than half of the United States population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. And nearly 3 out of 4 are overweight or obese. Think of rates of cardiovascular disease, autoimmune conditions, right? Fertility issues, metabolic dysfunction. Okay, it continues to rise. And these challenges, folks, are not limited to physical health right? Insulin resistance has also been associated with fatigue and brain fog and anxiety and mood changes, right? Which affect the quality of life in powerful ways. And what makes this especially frustrating is that these symptoms are often treated separately. Someone may receive a medication for blood pressure, another for cholesterol, another for blood sugar, without ever addressing the root cause. My goal is to help connect the dots, right? How many of you are struggling with your health? How many of you, every time you go to your doctor just wants to put you on another medication? Jerry, thank you. I really don't care how long you've been struggling with your health, right? Many people think that we've got to be on these medications for the rest of our life. Most people have no idea that you can actually start improving your health. Get yourself off of these medications. Medications are not the answer. I hope and pray that what I share helps you to avoid the same mistakes that I've made. Think about this. You could have insulin resistance for 10 to 20 years before it ever leads to a diabetes diagnosis. Seriously. These can include stubborn belly fat. It can include constant cravings. You can feel hungry all the time. You can have high blood pressure. You can have cholesterol issues. You can have hormonal imbalances. You can have PCOS. You can have erectile dysfunction, low testosterone, and migraines, and poor sleep, just to name a few, right? How many of you have skin tags? Skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, right? Pay attention to what your body is telling you. Just like if I'm driving a car down the road, okay, the check engine light comes on, okay? Far too often we put the blinders on, right? And we ignore the root cause, okay? But I hope and pray that what I share with you, okay, helps you to reverse the symptoms of insulin resistance. Most people have no idea that they even have it. Because, you know, one of the biggest challenges is that insulin resistance. Anne-Marie, good morning. One of the biggest challenges that I think people have is that we don't know that we have insulin resistance, right? When you go to a doctor, most doctors tell you that your labs are normal, okay? You could have insulin resistance for 10 to 20 years before it actually leads to a diabetes diagnosis. So this fire is burning out of control for a really long time. And by the time someone is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you've had it for a long time. The good news is that you can fix it. You can modify it, okay? And I want you guys to understand, I am not anti-doctor. I am not anti-medicine. I am anti-ignoring the root cause. I think it's important for us to understand why we have these health issues. But more importantly, what are some things that you and I can do that can start to improve our health naturally? That helps us to get off these meds. So, you know, the biggest health crisis in the world today is not just the economy. It is insulin resistance. It affects your loved ones, okay? 93% of people have it. I want you to think about this for a second. If you and I are in a classroom, we've got 100 students in that class. 93 students are failing the class. There's only 7 out of the 100 that are passing. And that happens year after year after year. How many of you are signing up for that class? How many of you have skin tags, right? Psoriasis. Yes, you could go to the dermatologist, and yes, they can probably remove your skin tags. But the reality is that the skin tags are going to continue to come back and come back and come back until you actually fix the root cause. There's a reason for this. Folks, I wish that I knew about this 30 years ago. My brother passed away early, right? You know, I honestly, you know, you never know what people are going through. Okay? Think about this, right? I'm somebody who donated a kidney back in November of 2014, and I was told that I had stage 4 kidney disease. Okay? What I love about this, it's called the feel great system, right? When you're in your 30s, right, your body changes and it's harder to bounce back as you get older, right? I reversed stage 4 kidney disease using this. Okay? Most people are waking up and every morning they are getting on a bunch of meds that their doctor has prescribed. I'm not exactly sure, parallelogram, not sure what the purpose was for that question. Um, but Bountiful Healing, how are you doing? Thank you so much for hopping on this live. Okay, folks, here's the frustrating part. Most people are treating symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. Diabetes meds, cholesterol meds, and Stacy, let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I have a discount that can actually lower that significantly. Okay, most people are treating the symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. And Brenda Unfiltered, I can't even imagine that. You know, one of the things that I talk about, Brenda, is particularly this fiber, right? This fiber was created by a pharmacy that many of you might not be familiar with, right? It used to be the largest pharmacy, largest drugstore in the world. It's called Rexall. There's still a few that are scattered around the world. There are some on the East Coast of the United States. They're in Canada. But Rexall started in 1903, and they used to be the biggest drugstore. And Brenda, these doctors and scientists created this blend of fiber because the food industry was taking fiber out of our foods. So they were putting it back in because they wanted people to get the fiber back. But they did it for a second reason. They wanted to eradicate heart disease naturally. Do you guys realize that heart disease and cancer are the two leading causes of death worldwide? And most people have no idea that insulin resistance is what drives this. Brenda, this fiber was studied by the Cleveland Clinic. And if anyone has never heard of the Cleveland Clinic, I know some of you have. The Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, happens to be the #1 heart hospital in the world. Okay? The #1 heart hospital in the world. And Constance, let me know if you have any questions. But the #1 heart hospital in the world took 119 hyperlipidemia patients, and they gave half a placebo and they gave the other half this fiber. And they said, at the conclusion of their study, they said that if people use this on a regular basis, that it would decrease cardiovascular disease on a population basis. And it would decrease the need and or dosage for lipid-lowering medications. Constance, let me know. I have a discount that will lower that price for you. Okay? Think about this, folks. When you and I go to the doctors diagnose and treat the symptoms. Think about this. How many of us are on a bunch of medications? Most people have no idea that they can fix and improve their health naturally. This is why I get on here and I share this information. My goal is to help empower, educate, and empower people to understand, connect the dots. Okay, how many of you are tired all the time? How many of you, after you've eaten a meal, you're ready for a nap? Seriously, how many of you are constantly hungry all the time? Have you ever wondered why? I mean, we're literally talking about a major health issue that affects 93% of people. See, when you go to your doctor and your cholesterol is too high, they prescribe a drug called statin. Guys, there's over 1 billion people, a billion with a B, on statins. And maybe you've even been told that a statin is the only reliable way to lower your cholesterol. See, way back in the 90s, right? Rexall Drugs came out with a blend of fibers that they said was going to change the world. So they put 4 different patents on it to make sure that nobody could copy it. You want to know what's interesting is that you can still find the old videos of these doctors, these scientists talking. They said, we have the only clinically proven, patented, and natural alternative to statin drugs. Guys, it's a $25 billion industry in and of itself. You want to know what their mission was? They said their mission was to eradicate heart disease naturally. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the world. And they created a product that could help end that. This is clinically proven to lower your triglycerides, to lower your LDL. It improves your HDL. It lowers your A1C. It is clinically proven to work. It works without the need for meds or diets. I mean, how many of you feel like you're on an extreme diet? How many of you feel like the diet's not working? How many of you would be open to a natural alternative to the medications that you're taking? You know what's interesting is that the doctors that saw the study and the science behind these products, a doctor said that if you were a medical professional and you saw what this could do, you saw all the research, they said that if you were unwilling to share this with people, that it was borderline malpractice. Think about that for a second. Folks, if you had a solution to a big problem and you were unwilling to share it with people, what would that look like? We have that solution to that problem. Did you know that in the United States, it's one of the worst countries when it comes to our metabolic health? But it's even worse in parts of the Middle East and Southeast Asia, Latin America. But 93% of people in our backyard are struggling with metabolic health. And it's only getting worse. 74% of Americans are overweight or obese. 93% of people are metabolically unhealthy. 54% of people are diabetic or pre-diabetic. 20% more adolescents are dealing with diabetes now more than they did 10 years ago. If you wondered why I get on these lives every single day, this is why. Now, here's the part that no one wants to tell you. When you go to your doctor, okay, and let's say that you go to your doctor because you've got IBS, you've got migraines, you've got cholesterol issues, okay? Think about this. You go to 3 different doctors, you're going to pay 3 different copays, And you're going to walk out with at least 3 or more medications, and not one of them even touches the root cause of your health issues. See, all they're doing is managing the numbers, the symptoms. But the moment you come off those meds, folks, what do you think happens? Right? Think about this. Folks, this system that I use is what helped me to reverse stage 4 kidney disease. Seriously. It has literally changed my life. I wish that I would have known about this 20 years ago, 21 years ago. Let me Give me just a second. Oh, here this is. Okay. Folks, don't do that. And I just, Storm, there's a code. Use this code when checking out. Okay. Use that code during this live. Okay. And it lowers that significantly. Folks, I want you to think about why you are struggling with this. I want you to think about your own health. Are you dealing with constant fatigue? Are you carrying extra weight that you can't lose no matter what? Do you have the migraines? Do you have the cholesterol issues? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have fertility problems? Maybe you've got things like psoriasis or eczema or kidney stones. I'm going to dive into all of that today, folks. I would love to hear from each and every one of you in the chat. Feel free to put what you're struggling with. Let me know if you're dealing with any of these. Like I said, the biggest issue is that most doctors are not talking about insulin resistance. And by the way, Storm, let me know if you have any questions. I have been using this product for 2 years. It has literally changed my life. There are thousands of people around the world. We are in 66 countries. They have a new product, okay? Holistic USA, they have a new product that is coming out. It's the mint chocolate brownie, okay? Folks, I've been using this for over 2 years. We are the only company in the world that have these simple products that are listed in the PDR, okay? PDR, okay, the PDR.net. Folks, I'm living proof that you can fix and you can improve your health naturally without the need for meds or diets. Okay, I wish that I would have known about this 20 years ago. Okay, I wish I would have known about this. Folks, Michelle says, I've had fibromyalgia, IBS, I suffer with, okay, so many gut issues, psoriasis. Michelle, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Feel Great system. We are literally the only company in the world that has a natural product that is listed in the same physician's desk reference that doctors prescribe meds from. It is just as effective and often works better than the medications that are often prescribed. Folks, my hope and my prayer is to share something that can make an impact in your health. Folks, I wish 93% of people, remember this, folks. The good news is that you don't need meds or extreme diets to fix this. There are way too many people that are struggling with their health today. Michelle, make sure that when you guys check out that you use this code, okay? It gives you, I think, 25 or 30% off, okay? Folks, this tool is changing people's lives all around the world. Most people literally have no idea that it even exists. I wish that I knew about this 20 years ago. My dad would still be here. My brother would still be here. And insulin is a hormone, okay? It's important to understand. Home Slice, how you doing, brother? It's important. Insulin is a hormone that acts like a key that unlocks your cells and allows your cells to utilize the energy from the foods we eat. There's only 2 stages of life. Think about this. There's only 2 stages of life where you actually want to be insulin resistant. That is puberty and pregnancy. Right? Because this is the stages that it helps your body to grow. But after that, too much insulin in your body becomes a major problem. Right? I want you guys to think about this for a second, okay? How many of you have ever had chicken or turkey, right? If you put a chicken in the oven, okay? And CLE, thank you so much for the rose, appreciate that. When you put a chicken in the oven, it goes from pink to brown, right? You see this as it's cooking, right? The process is called glycation. And believe it or not, is that the same thing happens to a piece of toast, right? When you put a piece of bread in the toast, right? The interesting thing is that the human being, from the moment that we're born, we're slowly cooking the same way on the inside, right? We're slowly, right, browning. And when we're fully glycated, when we're fully cooked, right, then we die. That's why when you look at the cartilage of a baby, it's white. And when you look at the cartilage of an older person, right, like somebody who's 90 years old, it's brown. Right? They've cooked on the inside. That's kind of the same process that happens inside of our bodies that happens when you put a chicken in the oven and you cook it. Okay? So why is this such a big deal, folks? Think about the people around you. More than half of our country has prediabetes or type 2. Chronic conditions like obesity and cardiovascular disease and autoimmune disorders, they're skyrocketing. But it's not just physical health anymore. Infertility, PCOS, even mental health issues like anxiety are all linked to insulin resistance. And what's frustrating is that we are often given medications for each symptom, but they don't fix the root cause. This is why I share this. I wish that I knew about this 20 years ago. If you're struggling with health issues like kidney disease, or you've recently been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, maybe you've lived with it for years, maybe you've got neuropathy, and maybe you're wondering when it's going to end. That's why I get on here to help. We offer a natural approach that serves as an alternative. You guys realize, okay, when you go to the doctors because you're diabetic, what does your doctor give you? Metformin. How many of you are on metformin? If you wouldn't mind just typing the letter M in the chat if you're on metformin. If any of you are utilizing these expensive weight loss meds like Ozempic or Mounjaro, if you wouldn't mind typing GLP-1 in the chat. Thank you for that. You guys realize that what I'm sipping right here is a natural metformin. It's a natural Ozempic. It does the same things, but there's 0 side effects. And you know what's great about this, folks? For any one of you who is willing to try this, the manufacturer gives everybody a 90-day, 100% money-back guarantee. If you try this and you don't like it, you literally get your money back. How many of you have ever seen a medication with no side effects and a 90-day money-back guarantee. Anybody? Anybody ever see that? No. Because it doesn't exist. There is no medication that has ever existed upon this earth that doesn't have a side effect. You want to know why I love this system? Is because there are 0 side effects. There's no contraindications with the system. Folks, you could be on 100 medications and it works, right? And the moment you get off by the way, okay, the moment you get off your meds, what do you think happens to all of these symptoms? What happens to the symptoms when you come off those meds? You know, you and I can white knuckle a diet for 2 weeks, right? Any one of us can white knuckle a diet for 2 weeks and we can lose weight, but then the moment you stop it, what happens? You go right back. Now, what if instead of chasing the symptoms, we just tackle the one thing that's causing them all? What I'm sipping is a natural metformin. It does the same thing. For those of you that are on a statin, if you're on a statin, would you mind typing the letter S in the chat? There's over 1 billion people in the world that are on a statin. This right here is the only clinically proven natural alternative, patented, by the way. You can't copy it, can't be replicated. You can only get it from one source, the manufacturer. And it is just as effective and often works better than the medication. It's the only clinically proven natural alternative to statin drugs. Just go look up the side effects, ladies and gentlemen, to the medications you're on. And what I help people with is a natural alternative to the meds that are often prescribed for weight, blood pressure, cholesterol issues, etc. Okay? Every medication that has been prescribed comes with a side effect. You know, I have a friend who lives here in Tucson. She used to work as the director of a heart hospital for over 10 years. During that 10-year tenure, none of her patients with high blood pressure or high cholesterol, not one of them was able to come off their medications. Think about this. In over 10 years, not one patient was able to come off their meds. See, they're being prescribed more medications. Medications are not the answer, folks. I am so passionate about sharing this information with you. You could have symptoms from insulin resistance and never even know it, folks. Medication alone does not truly heal the body. Seriously. But there is a tool that can help you to control your insulin, which leads to actual healing. And for those of you, this system comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. It is just as effective as your meds, but better. And if you're use this code when you're checking out. In the United States, we are seeing rising rates of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune conditions. It almost seems that everyone is affected by these issues. So let's talk about the solutions, like what can we do? And the first step, folks, is understanding your symptoms and connecting them to the root cause. Once you do that, we can actually start to find real solutions. If any of these symptoms resonates with you, put a 1 in the chat. Folks, you can fix it naturally. If you've ever been told that you can't reverse type 2 diabetes, it's a lie. You can. I've seen it happen in hundreds of people. There's hundreds of people that I personally know that have reversed type 2 diabetes. I've seen more people who have struggled to lose the weight, right? How many of you are carrying that extra weight, especially around your midsection, right? That won't budge no matter what you do. And the reason why is because insulin is a fat storing hormone. When insulin is high, okay, your body's going to be storing fat until you manage your insulin. Losing that belly fat is going to be really super tough. Okay. These are linked to, what about blood pressure, cholesterol? These are all linked to insulin resistance. But guess what your cardiologist is likely to do? Put you on medications. Rarely do they ever talk about fixing the root cause so that your blood pressure and cholesterol can normalize naturally. You know, I had migraine headaches for 23 years. 23 years. And they went away in the very first week of just sipping on this simple tea, right? This yerba mate tea. And by the way, they have another flavor. I think it's on back order. It's raspberry pomegranate. But this is a mint chocolate brownie. And if you have this hot, it actually tastes amazing. But the most popular is the natural lemon. I absolutely love it. I know some people say it tastes like an Arnold Palmer and you're putting lime in it. I love the taste. I'm not typically a tea drinker. I love the taste of this Unamate. Okay. It is loaded with chlorogenic acid and theobromine. And for those of you that are checking out this product, make sure that when you check out to use this code right here. It is case sensitive. Okay. So make sure that it's all capitalized letters. Okay. Folks, insulin is like an out of control fire in your body. Okay. Just like how smoke signals that there's a fire. Okay. The symptoms that are caused by insulin resistance is the smoke. Think about this. When we focus on extinguishing the fire, right, putting the fire out, okay, the smoke or the symptoms that you have will start to fade away. How many of you have type 2 diabetes? Right, if you're diabetic, how many of diabetics have been told to start their day with oats? How many of you eat oatmeal for breakfast? How many of you still believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Okay. Most of us, right, probably believe that. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. I want to make sure that I'm helping you to understand what insulin resistance is. Okay. Far too many people have insulin resistance. Okay. My hope and my prayer is that it helps you to avoid that. It helps you to improve your health. Okay. How do we manage the excess insulin that's in our body? A major contributor is our habit of eating constantly throughout the day. How many of us were taught to eat 3 meals a day and to snack 2 to 3 times daily, right? That eating pattern has become ingrained in our daily routines. But the reality is that very few people are in perfect health, right? Now, while we might be living longer, it's not just about longevity. It's about how good we feel as we age. See, your body is capable of healing itself. But if we don't start making changes now, your health will derail down the line. Okay? Most of us have been taught that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but it's not. Whether you eat at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock at night, okay? This is weird. How did this change? Hold on a second. It's interesting. How did that change? Folks, let me know when you are ordering, okay? Because I have a special, okay? Let me make sure that I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Um, it's interesting. Bear with me for a second while I try and fix this. It keeps putting a different. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the right discount in here. Okay. So I've made sure, okay, that that code Phil G Troy is what you're looking for. Okay. So what happens when you and I eat all the time? Okay. Eating food causes your blood sugar to rise. It triggers that insulin to flow, right? Every time we eat food, especially sugar and especially carbs, it causes our glucose to be elevated, right? It causes your insulin to be elevated. Insulin is what's causing a lot of these issues, right? Insulin is a fat storing hormone. When it is high, your body is storing it. When insulin is low, your body is burning it. Okay, the key is helping your body get to the point to where you can actually burn your FAT. It's the best way for you to actually lose weight naturally. Many of us are getting on these weight loss meds, but what happens is that part of the weight, for every 10 pounds of weight that you guys lose on those drugs, do you guys realize that 5 pounds is muscle, bone, and connective tissue? That's the crazy part. Most people don't realize that. Okay. You can improve your health without the need for meds or diets, folks. Let's talk about something that I think has been, debated for a really long time, and that's whether or not carbohydrates are essential. We've got protein, we've got fats, and we've got carbohydrates. Which one of those is not essential? And I'm curious as to what you guys think. If you wouldn't mind dropping your answer in the chat. Now, if you have a doctor that is talking to you about insulin resistance, hold on to them. Because the sad reality is that most healthcare professionals aren't addressing it, even though it's the root cause of so many health issues. Folks, if you're struggling with anything, you're not alone. Medications are not the answer. Medications should be the backup to the backup. If you are looking for a natural alternative to the medications that are often prescribed, you are not going to find something better. These two, we are the only company in the world that has these two products that are listed in the same PDR. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Hold on a second. Lawrence, Aaron, thank you for hopping on. I appreciate that. This is so weird. I'm trying to pin the the special, right? So that when you guys are, placing your purchase, that you're putting the right code in there. Okay. What's the ingredients that's so important in the supplement? It's made, Lawrence, it's made in the United States. And this tea, it's loaded with chlorogenic acid and theobromine. Okay. It and by the way, yerba mate is a product that's been around for a long time, right? It's uh, if you've ever drank yerba mate, this is not the same yerba mate that you get in the grocery store, right? What they do is they hand pick the leaves. It's fire roasted, it's concentrated, it's purified. It goes through a rigorous process to get to what it is. Okay. We are the yerba mate. By the way, yerba mate is not in the physician's desk reference. If you don't know what the PDR is, that's what doctors use to prescribe from. Yerba mate is not in the PDR, but this is. Okay. This is just as effective as metformin or Ozempic, does the same thing. This is just as effective as statins. Okay. We're the only company in the world where we've got two natural products listed in the same physician's desk reference that have zero side effects. There are zero contraindications with this system. It works, and it's absolutely amazing. Okay. And by the way, folks, you can try it for 90 days, and if it doesn't work, you literally get your money back. You can use your HSA or your FSA. We can talk about that. But folks, I think it's important for us to understand why we have these health issues, but most importantly, what we can do to fix it. Okay. And Stewart, for those of you that are checking out, make sure that you're using this code when you check out. Okay. So protein and fats, right? Protein is important. Our brain needs it. Our muscles need it. Okay. Fats, that's essential, right? Because we're not getting enough omega-3s and omega-6s, right? So we've got to get that in our food because our body can't produce it. But the only macronutrient that is not essential is carbohydrates. Your body can literally convert your stored FAT into ketones. Okay, ketones is what fights off the harmful cells, right? If any of you have ever dealt with cancer or know somebody that deals with that, it cannot thrive on ketones. It needs sugar and it needs insulin. So when you're fasting, okay, there's two things that I teach, fasting and fiber. Okay, when you go longer periods of time without putting food into your mouth, you are avoiding these glucose spikes. And when you avoid these glucose spikes, okay, you are avoiding the insulin spikes. This is key, right? Fasting is one of the quickest ways to regulate your insulin levels. Most of you, again, are on a bunch of medications to help manage these. Your body can do this on its own if we give our body the ability to do so. But far too often, we are just throwing medications at our symptoms. Medications don't fix the root cause of our health, folks, at all. All they do is manage the symptoms. That's it. You cannot put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Folks, if you had a solution to the biggest health problem in the world, who would you help? Okay, who would you help? Okay. How many of you, like if you had a solution to the problem, would share this with people? I wish I knew about this 20 years ago because, again, my dad passed away on Easter Sunday, 2017. Okay. He would still be here. And this is why I get on here every single day because I know that this can make an impact. You don't have to wait to fix your health. Most people have no idea that there is a simple solution to a big problem. By the way, this product has been around for over 30 years. Hardly anybody even knows about it because, again, nobody's addressing it. Most of us, all we're doing is we're treating the symptoms. At the end of the day, you have a right to know that you can heal your health without the need for this. Let me put that, folks, don't order anything until I put these this code back in here, the special that we have during this live. And for those of you that are curious, okay, it's all case sensitive, but you're going to put well, here, let me add this. I'm not quite understanding why it's not taking this. Give me just a second. And folks, thank you so much for hopping on this live. I really do appreciate that. Right? If there's any of you that have been struggling with your health, you really don't have to wait to fix it. Okay? This is why I share this with people, because most people have no idea that you can fix or reverse insulin resistance without the need for meds or diets. And if any of you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Mary, what were you asking? Yeah, Rhonda, don't buy it yet. Let me wait until I put this code in here. Okay, so I've just updated it with this, Rhonda. Make sure that you're using this live special code, okay, when you're checking out. Are there any questions? And Big Baby Ramsey, thank you for hopping on. Rhonda, let me know if you have any questions. I want to look at something real quick too. If you and I went to a family reunion, right? Both sides of the family are there. Folks, how many people are affected by these issues? See, when we go to a doctor and they diagnose the symptoms, right? They usually send you home with one or more medications. The medications are designed to treat the symptoms, not fix it. If we want to fix the root cause, we've got to address the root cause, okay? And folks, I'm living proof that you can fix and you can reverse insulin resistance without the need for medications. Most people don't know that, okay? And folks, when you're checking out, there is a code that you want to put in. It's FEELG and my name. It's all uppercase. So FEELG TROY. That is the code that you want to put in the live. Okay. Folks, I've got just a couple more minutes and then I've got to hop off. But if you are thinking about ordering this, don't sit on the fence. It comes with a 90-day money back guarantee. Folks, if this doesn't work, you can get your money back. I'm living proof that you can fix and you can reverse this without the need for meds or diets. Sorry, I'm trying to update this. Rhonda, and feel free to send me for those of you that are trying to, feel free to send me a message. Okay, I can actually help you direct. Let me see here. I apologize for this, folks. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. This is absolutely crazy. This is the first time that I've ever used this this discount code, but hopefully, okay, there it is, right here, FEELG Troy. Mill, there, and I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Believe it or not, it's actually going to be. They've started to put it on here because a lot of people have been asking. It's done by our company. Actually, has a store. There, a lot of people have been asking for this. The problem with buying it through here is that you are going to pay a little bit more than you would through my LINK, right? I've got to be very strategic in how I share that. And so they have it here. A lot of people don't feel comfortable buying it from another source, and so they're doing a trial to where they're seeing if people are wanting and utilizing the TikTok shop in order to get this. So yes, you are going to pay a little bit more because TikTok takes out their fees. Okay, folks, I'm happy to jump on a phone call with any one of you. And Rhonda, I know that we've communicated before, but folks, if you have a question in regards to this, you're wanting to utilize it, I'm happy to jump on a phone call and address that. Okay. What I can tell you is that this system works. I've been using it for 2 years. It is what I use to reverse stage 4 kidney disease. It has completely changed my life. This is why I get on here every single day for a couple of reasons. Number one, it works. And number two, people can try it. And if it doesn't work, you literally get your money back. You can't do that with medications. You can't do that with diets, right? I have a customer right now who is using this, who has spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on supplements. You know, it's like protein cereals and things like this. Folks, what I'm sharing with you is a way that can help you to improve your metabolic health. It can help you to get off the medications. It can help you to improve your health in ways that medications, diets don't work. I love talking about it. It works. If it doesn't, you get your money back. You literally lose nothing. And so I hope that you guys, first and foremost, I think it's important for you to understand what's going on in your body, right? Because once you understand what's going on in your body, you can start connecting the dots. We can start connecting the root cause of our health issues to what's actually happening. Most of us are just treating the symptoms without ever trying to fix the root. This is what I'm trying to help you to do, is to fix the root, okay? And you can do that without the need for meds or diets or feeling like you have to be on all these, you've got to go to the gym twice a day, okay? Let me just make sure I'm not missing any questions here. And thank you to everyone who is tapping the screen, who is sharing this. I appreciate you. If there is anything that I can do to help you, please let me know, okay? I'm happy to jump on a call with any one of you and help you in any way I can. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day, okay? God bless you.